look a little too crazy. I just get brow happy sometimes, and I use a little bit too much. Especially, what I used on my brows was this Brow Contour Pro from Benefit, and I forget how creamy this is. So, y'all gonna have to stare it up until I get my makeup all the way done. So for today's video, we are going to do a review on the Estee Lauder Double Wear Foundation. So this is what it looks like. It has a glass container. It feels nice, but it does not have a pump. It comes in a little lid. It comes with 1 fluid ounce, and it claims it is a double wear, stay in place makeup foundation. It says 24-hour staying power, looks fresh and flawless through heat, humidity, non-stop activity, won't change color, smudge, or come off on clothes. Lightweight and so comfortable you won't believe it's long wear. Medium to buildable coverage. Won't clog pores, oil controlling, oil free, fragrance free, and dermatologist tested. So I have very oily skin. What I use to prep my skin is the Smashbox primer water, and as well as my Wet n Wild mattifying primer. Now I know when I use these two in combination with any foundation, if the foundation tends to slick off, it's the foundation and it's not my products. So we are going to test this out, seeing if it actually is long wearing. So the color that I got is in 4W1 Honey Browns, and it looks like it might be a little too light for me, but we're gonna make it work. Take off the glasses. I am not going to wear this foundation 24 hours. Yeah, see, so it's a little bit too light, but we'll make it work with bronzer and with setting powder. So this is the only thing that I hate about foundations that don't have a pump, that you have to sit here, just dot it all over your face. And what I'm actually going to do is do one side with a brush and another side with my beauty blender, because I know a lot of people don't use sometimes a beauty sponge, to see what the difference is. So I'm just going to be using my Real Techniques sponge on this side, and then we'll use the brush on the other. Sorry, let me go from there. Well, actually, the color would probably work.
That means you're extra.
So far, I do like the consistency of it. It is already drying matte, so let me grab my brush, and I'm just going to be using this flat top brush from Morphe. And then I do, so it is medium coverage because I had that pimple and it just like covered up the redness. Now the places that I tend to have issues with foundation sometimes is that they tend to not go over my nose very well. So this foundation actually didn't get stuck on the little crease of your nose, if you know what I'm talking about. And my texture looks about the same. I mean, you can't tell a lot, but it's a nice, like, overall even out the skin tone. Now I still do have darkness around my mouth area. Of course, you can see my under eye circle. So we're gonna do another layer to see what happens. That with that second layer, again, it didn't go and get all nasty around the nose, so I'm very happy about that. But you can still see a little bit of the darkness. Like, I am going to have to use concealer. I don't think I'm gonna have to use my color corrector, but I guess we'll find out. And so now let's do the second layer on this end. Again, I really do like the finish of it for being a matte foundation. Well, we'll see about that, but from what it states, a matte foundation. It doesn't look too cakey right off the bat. Like, I don't know if y'all have tried, let me grab it real quick. So this Maybelline Superstay foundation, this is the most matte foundation I have ever tried. Like, automatically when you try it on, when you put it on your skin, oh, it looks like cake just on top of your skin. I do have to use a hydrating primer to use that foundation, because if I don't, it looks gross on my face. Yes, the foundation is buildable, and it does not seem to be caking on any of the areas that it normally does cake around my face. Like my nose, it looks good. But what I do want to try is just putting a little bit with the Real Techniques. See, normally with a sponge, you can get more coverage from a foundation. So I'm just gonna go over it. But yes to the beauty sponge and yes to the brush. So I'm just gonna end up finishing up my face and then see how it ends up looking. Alright guys, so this is how the final look looks like. So I did use this Wet n Wild Photo Focus powder to set my face. I did use also my NYX mattifying setting spray, but I look dewy. I don't look as matte as I expected. I feel like this foundation is not gonna last until 6 o'clock. I am gonna have to blow up my face. If you do have large pores, let me zoom y'all in. So if y'all do have large pores, as you can tell, that you're not gonna like it. I mean, to me, like I've said before, I don't care for the pores because that's just something that I've gotten used to. There's just no point in using a pore, like a pore filler, because it actually makes my skin even worse and oily. So if you are somebody that hates that their pores look huge, this foundation is not for you. It has a little bit settled on these fine lines that I have on the side of my mouth, so we'll see that throughout the day. For me personally, for being a $42 foundation, it's not going as I expected. I mean, I do like how it looks, but for $42, I expected more. So I guess we'll see throughout the day how it holds up, how many times I have to set my face. I do have my mattifying powder and as well as some blotting sheets that I typically sometimes do take with me whenever I wear foundations that are not matte. So we'll see y'all on the next check-in. Hey guys, so I'm here with my first check-in. I thought I would do it real quick before I go pick up my son from school. I am oily from my nose, on top of my cheeks, and a little bit on my forehead. I've only had this foundation on for like 3 hours. I did actually go run out and do an errand, but normally, I mean, I have the AC on, so I'll repeat this again. Sorry, I'm out of it. Hey guys, so welcome back to my first check-in. Hey guys, so this is going to be my first check-in of the day. I am oily, as you can tell. I am oily right here on the top of my cheeks where I normally get, well, that's usual, and as well as in my nose and a little bit in my forehead area. I do not have the creasing going on the sides of my mouth, so that's one thing I am happy about. But again, for being a $42 foundation and it's not being as mattifying as I thought it would be, not all that happy about it. I mean, don't get me wrong, it has a beautiful coverage, but hold on, let me grab them real quick. It's almost exactly like the Born This Way, just a little bit more, just a little bit mattifying. Wait, that doesn't make sense. Alright, so I do have some examples of which foundation I would prefer to use, and which is the CoverGirl True Blend Matte Foundation. This can last up to 4 to 6 hours without me having to powder or making me look this oily. The other ones that I love using is this LA Girl Pro Matte Foundation. This one is $8.99, and this one lasts matte for a solid 6 to 8 hours. Like, I don't have to powder. And then the Maybelline Stay Matte, now this thing is just full on matte. I can go a good 6 to 8 hours as well. And I believe the Super Stay is about $12.99. So given that, y'all see that? Given that this foundation is probably, can't do math right now, but like 4 to 5 times the price, and it's not holding up for at least 3 hours, is not a good sign. I mean, the one also thing is that it kind of has, the way that it's breaking down right here on the edge of the little crevice of the nose, I'm not too mad about that, because sometimes with the CoverGirl one, it does tend to break down there and it kind of looks weird, but I just have to powder it and I don't mind. But this one, the way that it's breaking down, like it's breaking down slowly, so you can't automatically tell that, you know, the oils is breaking down the foundation. But if you do have oily skin and you do not want to have to deal with having to powder already within 3 hours, then I don't recommend it. I haven't tried doing taking pictures to seeing if the foundation provides a flashback or not, so I'll probably do that here in a minute to test it out. I am going to powder my T-zone, and so, but I am not oily, like, so I do get very oily too right here on the upper lip section, and I'm not as oily as I usually am, but again, it still doesn't go over the fact that I'm oily everywhere else. So the powder I'm going to be using is this Essence All About Matte powder. I'm just going to take a big fluffy brush and just touch up on the areas that, you know, I'm oily. And then I'm going to take this flat taper brush and actually go into the little nose crevice. So maybe that will stop it from like fully, you know, breaking down apart. And then I also like to put it right here in the little section of where my glasses are at, because I do, you know, unfortunately having something against your face tends to break down even quicker. So, and also I do get very oily right here in the temple area. And then the last step that I like to do when it comes to powdering my face is using, using my Urban Decay All Nighter Spray. Alright, so there goes that. So again, the time is about now 3:30, and we'll see on the next check-in how this foundation is holding up. So I'm here with my last check-in. I do apologize about the lighting. I'm trying to figure out where is a good placement for it, since I do have a ring light. But I think I'm going to have to change the bulbs in my room in order for it to kind of look a little bit more even. But on the foundation, so it is currently 10:30 at night. I've had this foundation on for about 10 hours. And no, this is just not how I expected for a $42 foundation to work. I mean, I kind of expect this out of a drugstore foundation, because I'm not going to lie, I would rather pay $8 to look like this at the end of the night versus $42 and look like this. I do have some, like I've stated before in the video, some of my favorites that literally I can last up to 6 to 8 hours without needing to blot my face. And this, literally by the third hour, I was needing to blot. So what I'm going to do is, like, do y'all see this? So what I'm going to do next is I'm just going to try it out with a different primer, seeing what that does. And if I'm still looking like a slick grease ball at the end of the night, it gotta go. But I mean, to begin with, it does look very beautiful on the skin. But see, the thing is that I am very like amazed at is that I do not have those smile lines or creases that I normally do. But I mean, I'd rather just go with my drugstore foundation and, you know, be like massaging the product on my smile line versus looking like this. When I use my oil absorbing sheets, it kind of like removes some of my makeup that I have on my face, some of the rest of the product that, you know, it removes the rest of the product that's on my face, and it kind of just defeats the whole purpose. Again, this is just how oily I get, but there's just a lot of cheaper foundations that just do a better job at holding the oil, at least at the first 6 hours. Not by the third hour, already a grease ball. So I'm going to try it one more time. If I'm still getting these results of my face just being oily, nope, I'm not going to keep it. But, I mean, let me know in the comment section down below if this foundation has worked with your oily skin, if you have oily skin. Not if you have dry skin, because girl, I don't got no dry skin. But if you have oily skin and it has worked out for you, yeah, it's just, so far, nope, it's gonna be a no for me. But let me know down below in the comment section what kind of video you would like to see next. I do also want to put up another video of these eyeshadows that I bought. So, keep a lookout for that. But again, thank you for joining me today, and hopefully we'll see you on the next video.